Today, we're going to continue talking about the Automation Rules tab in Arive's admin settings, specifically task templates and how to set them up and use them. Let's get started. Up in the top right-hand corner of this Automation Rules screen, you're going to notice your Task Templates button. Now that's going to open up a new modal for us. This is where we're going to be able to see all of our existing task templates, edit and manage them, as well as creating a new task template. Now, this has similar sorting rules that you've already seen in the other automation rules. You see that sort by section down on the top right hand. You can adjust those various elements, and you're going to get a breakdown a little bit of the existing automations you have, the calculated due date, the team member assignment that's going to get the task assigned to them. It gives you a little preview right now of how many automations it's currently used in, which is great. And either the time it was created or the last time it was modified. Both of those are nice for managing this on a larger section. No option to export, but there are ways to work around that. Check out some of my other videos about Chrome extensions that are helpful when you're adminning. Now you'll see up at the top I have an example task template that is already existing. You'll notice there's some purple text. Now that's because task templates support several of the merge fields or the info tags that already exist in other parts of Arive, like email templates. You're able to insert those in the editor in various parts, including the title. So if we click on the task template button up in the top right hand corner, we're going to get another modal that'll pop up over top of this, and this is where we're going to set up our actual template. Now keep in mind, right, these elements will repeat minus the merge tags, which are populated dynamically, in every one of these that is created from an automation rule or created manually from the task creation trigger, that little plus button in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Task title is exactly what it sounds like, and this is going to be the most visible piece. Keep in mind, this will also be in the subject line of the email that fires off when the task is created and assigned to a team member. So if you want to control any sensitive information in it, be careful about what you put in task title. It is, however, good for it to be fairly descriptive, as the description isn't normally visible when displaying the tasks in the task panel. You have to hover over the title to see the description displayed. Now, description allows up to 1,000 characters. It also has some basic formatting, although not everything is supported. One little kind of hint or tip I'll give you is that links are supported in the description, although it doesn't natively give you a way to do it. But if you put in a URL, you'll notice when you view the description later, the URL is clickable. This is great if you want to link to a job aid or something else about accomplishing this particular task. Now, due date, this is performing a calculation. So you can select either the same day that it's created or how many days, weeks, months, etc. past the point of the day and time it was created that you're going to make this due, as well as adjusting the time that it's going to be due. And keep in mind, all tasks have to have a due date and time. You can't have one without it. So if you have something kind of standing out that's low priority, or that there's actually a very large time frame where it can be done, or it doesn't matter if it's actually done, consider if a task really needs to be created for it, and push that due date out appropriately. Keep in mind, one of the most common ways your users are going to use tasks is to work from the most overdue or the task coming soonest, as opposed to sorting by other necessary criteria. Retain the value in those due dates by being very judicious about what due date you set and due date time. Keep in mind too, you have assigned time zone as an option. You can adjust whether you're going to use a fixed time zone or you're going to make it due relative to the time zone of the user. This is also really great if your users are spread out across the country and fall into different time zones. It's a trap a lot of people fall into. Below that, we have some options for skipping due dates and times that fall on the weekend. Great for if you have a business and you guys aren't working over the weekend. You can have it automatically skip Saturday and Sunday. Below that is our assignee field. Now, with the assignee field, you're going to notice that besides primary loan officer, it has the other roles that match up with roles that you can assign to an individual user and loan team roles that team members can be put into. However, notice in the parentheses that the majority of these have a little bit of language and a hint that if this task is created, if there is not a team member in that role, it will default back to the loan officer. So if you are trying to create a task that will only apply to a team member in that role, you need to make sure when you're building your automation rule that you are doing a check to make sure there is a team member in that role. Because by default, you can't assign it to only the processor or only the loan officer assistant. It has logic built in to make sure that it can land on someone on the file and it will fall back to the loan officer. So if you don't want it to go to the loan officer, you have to account for that in your trigger criteria in the automation rule that will create this task. Below that, we have our follow-up. Now, this is nice when you're creating a task that's something like calling a borrower or placing an order, something along those lines. It will automatically create an additional task that is due after X amount of time has passed when the original task is completed. Now, this cycle only repeats once, meaning you can't have it create follow-up tasks infinitely. But it is nice for third-party orders, for certain borrower contacts, when you're trying to get something done, to be able to complete your task that you've done it and then have it automatically create that follow-up for you so it comes back up in your list later and you know to get it done. Now, the checklist is an interesting feature. It gives you a pseudo way to break down your task into subtasks. And these are sort of visible on the pipeline view and the task view, but not broken out in a super obvious way. You don't get other descriptions. You just get one text line describing the individual checklist item. You can add merge fields here, so you can make it dynamic and specific to the file you're working on. And you'll notice that there's a little toggle for the required field. What this means is they won't be able to complete the parent task until they check that individual checklist item is complete. Not all of them have to be required. You can have some required, some not. Use that judiciously as you like. I personally don't love the sub checklist. I think that it is better to create parent tasks that represent the individual unit of work as opposed to creating some sort of bigger omni task with several checklist items. You lose some of the granularity, some of the visibility of progress on the pipeline view when you use less tasks and more checklist items inside the task than if you broke them all out into individual tasks. Recommendation from me. Next up, we have a autocomplete option. So what this offers to us is when certain actions are completed inside the loan file, it can automatically mark this task as done, which is great when you're creating tasks that represent some of the basic and common third-party orders, when it's about generating documents or completing some initial things that would always happen on a file. Right? Less clicks for the operations team member that's doing them, but still creates visibility on the pipeline view that there are things that need to be done or things that have already been done. Along those same lines, the shortcut button is actually one of my favorite parts of the loan file. What this does is it creates a link on the task you can click that takes you directly into a specific tab of the loan file. So if you're creating a task that requires you to edit or add something inside the loan file, you can link directly to the tab where that action happens. and you can get the user to the place they need to do the work that much faster. I love this, and I hope that we see more expansion of this shortcut in the future to be able to pass to additional places inside and outside of Arive. But as of right now, we can only pass to these tabs inside the specific Arive loan file that it is created in reference to. Now let's talk about actually adding these tasks in an automation. We're going to jump back to my test automation that I was showing you in the prior video. And you'll remember one of the actions that was available was create tasks. And it is create tasks with an S. You can trigger multiple tasks in a row using this single action. You don't have to chain them. And it gives you the option right in this step as well to either pick from an existing task template or create a new task template right here in the Arive automation rule. This is really nice in that it doesn't make you jump around back and forth, and that you can, in the moment, create new templates as you need them if that matches your workflow. Once you select the little checkbox next to the task template you want to add and hit Add Tasks, you're going to see that option exists there. You can't edit the template from inside of here, but you can edit if you're going to keep it or not. Keep in mind, you can't create one-off tasks in your automation rule. It has to be a task from a template. So unless you're going to have a great deal of templates available in your org, which I don't personally recommend, you want to be judicious about your task templates as well, and don't create a lot of one-off tasks that don't apply a lot of the time. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you rely on these videos to stay up to date, consider supporting the channel using the link down in the description. See you next time.